Going beyond the headlines. Asking the questions you want answered. Exploring government policies and how they impact you. We are delving deeper.
Good evening and welcome to Delving Deeper. I'm your host, Kimberly D'Souza. This evening, we're going to be focusing on the Military-Led Academic Training Program, or MiLAT. We're going to be speaking to the director of the program as well as two cadets. So let me welcome back the director of the Specialized Youth Service Program, Major David Benjamin, as well as two of the cadets, Travis Roop and Nkosi Thomas. Major Benjamin, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here.
Of course. Now, tell us about the MiLAT program and how can trainees join the program?
So, MiLAT stands for Military-Led Academic Training. It is a program that is designed to cater for young persons between the ages of 16 to 20 upon registration. And this really caters for young persons who are considered high needs. It's a structured quasi-military environment that is designed in a way that would assist young men in becoming successful, becoming stable, and balanced so that they could find their way in terms of society's expectations.
Yeah. And how can they join the program? Is there a specific age group? Do they have to bring documents? How does it work?
So the ideal applicant for MiLAT is a young man who would have had an education experience up to the age of approximately 16. That should have meant that that person would have been exposed to a third form standard of education. That individual would apply to the program. We have an online system as well as a paper-based system where persons can apply to the program. Once that application is in, they are then invited to go through an assessment. It's not an examination, it's an assessment. And that assessment is to determine what level the person is coming to the program at and what the program needs to be able to develop to assist this young man in becoming successful in the program. So it's a rolling application. Persons can apply any time throughout the year, and they would then be invited to be part of an assessment process. And it's based on two pillars. The first pillar is an academic assessment looking at basic literacy and numeracy skills. And the second assessment looks at their psychosocial adjustment and their ability to be able to matriculate and to make it into that residential-based type program.
Now, Major, this program was launched 15 years ago.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering, what sort of impact has this had on young men between the ages of 16 and 20 years old?
The impact has been phenomenal. We really didn't anticipate that we would have been able to be looking back 15 years later to think that MiLAT would have impacted the lives of thousands of young men who would have come through the gates of Mausika so significantly. But we stand now on 15 years of experience, and that time has shown us that because of the program's basis, its design, its strong psychosocial support for our young men who would have benefited from the program, we believe that this program is indeed a success story.
Mm-hmm. And what makes it a success story looking back 15 years later?
The young men that we cater for in the program would have come to the program for several different reasons. They would have fractured their education process midstream. They would not have completed their CXCs that as it was originally called, or it's now called CSEC. They would not have completed a full CSEC certificate. Because they've come to us from that perspective, we have to then meet them where they are. And in meeting them where they are, the assessment, the baseline assessment that we do is really critical to starting the process of building a strong educational framework for them to manifest the best possible outcomes. And in the education circles, it's called an IEP, an individualized education plan. We develop plans for students. We also look at what support they need, whether it's psychological support, whether it's self-esteem support. It could be drug counseling. Several of our applicants would have interacted or would have had an experience with drug use and some drug abuse. So we have to meet them where they are, understand that that is the dynamic that they would be coming from, and adjust the needs to be able to, for them, I should say, to be able to get the best of the program. We use a holistic approach, and that holistic approach is not only in terms of choosing the best possible teachers for them to interact with. The approach also is through male mentorship. At this time, the program only has males in the program. We also have military instructors. These military instructors are their guides, they are their mentors, and they work with the young men to be able to develop positive spirits, assisting them to navigate their way through 2 years of what several of them may believe would be a hard sacrifice, because, of course, we determine how their time is spent. We determine when they leave us to go home on weekends to spend a brief time with their parents, those who are parents, right? And then come back to us, right? So it's holistic in experience. No, we don't only focus on the classroom. We do as I said before, mentorship training. We then do what's called experiential learning. So taking them to the military bases, we do what's called non-combative military training. So they learn to hike, they learn to camp. There's a discipline that's involved there. Right now they're learning swimming. Some of those life skills that we take for granted are all taught in the MiLAT program. And we also look at their own personal development, giving them a voice, giving them an opportunity to speak for themselves, right? Through a number of activities that we have in the program.
Major, can you also speak about MiLAT for girls? Is that something that's coming on stream as well?
Indeed. When the program was originally designed in around 2004, 2005, it was originally designed with a male and female plan. Because at that time, we felt that the young men in society were the most at risk or high needs, we would have started with a male program. As you would appreciate, a female program requires a different level of resource base. And those resources would have to be in place and tested before we bring young ladies into our program. 15 years on, we believe that we are at the cusp now of being ready to take young ladies into the program. It's been tried and tested. The young men have fully benefited. It is time for the young ladies to now benefit from the positive attributes of what the MiLAT program has to offer. So the first and most critical issue here is, where do we locate those young ladies? What we will not do is put them in the same spaces with the young men. We know what challenges that will cause. So we have made purposive steps towards locating a separate space for the young ladies. We are just about to identify that space and make sure that it's properly appointed to accommodate our ladies. And we think that by the second to the third quarter of 2023, we'll be able to have our first cohort of young ladies coming into the program. I think at this time we have close to over 100 applications from young ladies who have expressed an interest, right, to be part of this first cohort of the MiLAT program. And we're looking forward to welcoming our young ladies into the program in the future.
Nice. Looks something that we can look forward to. But going back a bit, Major, I know that you described it as a success story, and we can see how successful the program has been. But I'm wondering some of the challenges you would have experienced to get to that point.
It has been an uphill struggle. As with everything that is new, we have to break new ground. And in breaking that new ground, you you have to remove issues and challenges. And some of those issues and challenges, I will say, are around facilities. Is MiLAT perfect in terms of the space that we would have envisioned? No, it's not. Several of us would have had international experiences when we go to military academies, because MiLAT is fashioned after a boarding school concept and fashioned after a military academy concept. When you go to international academies, you walk into pristine grounds. You walk into spaces that are very well appointed. That is my hope and vision for where MiLAT should be and what it should be, how it should be positioned. It should be even better than some of the quote-unquote prestige schools in Trinidad and Tobago. Persons should be rushing to get into MiLAT in the future, in terms of not necessarily who it's catered for, but because of the prestige and the surroundings that we hope to have. So having said that, we have made do with what we currently have. I think the strength of MiLAT right now is the people. We have really passionate staff who care about these young men, who make sure that the meals are cooked with love, who make sure that their facilities are properly maintained, the classrooms are decently well maintained. We will, through the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, have an injection of upgrade in facilities. Minister has pledged to address some of the issues in terms of the facilities on site, and we are about to turn sod on repairing and restoring several of the buildings and facilities on site. Right. So it is hoped that in the next year or so, the MiLAT that you see now will be totally refurbished, will look like an entirely different space, and would be one that we could, certainly be pleased and proud of in terms of the aesthetic. What we're pleased and proud of is the perseverance and the attitude and the adjustment that these young men have individually made, right? And it's not only manifested in their grades and them getting a full certificate, but them actually leaving the institution as a young man, as a responsible citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. And that, to us, is what the real success is of the MiLAT program. Yeah. The facilities, certainly an upgrade will help, right? And it would also assist us in that all-around look and feel of what we think the program truly deserves.
Yeah. Now, Major, because they're getting this sort of quasi-military training, yes, is this an easier route to enter the military in case they want to do that, whether it be Defense Force or any of the arms at the Ministry of National Security?
So that's a very interesting question that you ask. And a number of persons come to the program thinking that it's an easier route. But because of equal opportunity regulations, we have to ensure that our recruiting process in the Defense Force is not changed for any person or any standard is waived for that individual. What the program does, however, is really effectively prepare a potential young man or young lady, when we have the young ladies, for enrollment in the protective services. We have 2 years to work with that young man to give that person all of the rudimentary skills to be able to navigate his or her way through the Defense Force. And we are absolutely certain that the program assists them in that regard. Yeah. We have over 200 persons who would have joined the Defense Force through the MiLAT program and the Civilian Conservation Corps program, which is part of the Specialized Youth Services programs. I'm probably understating when I say 200, but there should be a couple hundred more. Mm-hmm. And they would have, through their experiences in those programs, through the positive mentorship that they would have received from the serving members of the Defense Force, as well as former members of the Defense Force who we employ in support positions, through that interaction, I'm certain that they would have seen their way through to the Defense Force and have been positively influenced and would have made the choice to join and give service to this country.
And well, finally, Major, any closing thoughts?
The future for the MiLAT program is indeed bright. We have our what will be called the National Service Complex at Mausika, which is the home base for the MiLAT program. The MyPath program, the brother program to MiLAT, with MyPath being technical vocational, trades and skills, MiLAT being CSEC. That MyPath program has been brought back to us. So we will be launching MyPath in early 2023 with a small cohort, a pilot cohort in Mausika. So persons can look forward to that. Persons can apply and register to the MyPath program. And MyPath will also be expanded to Beach Camp in Palo Seco, which is where the main base will be for MyPath. And we will also be launching a MiLAT program in Beach Camp in Palo Seco in the future.
Remind us, what is MyPath again?
Military-led program of apprenticeship and reorientation training,
Right.
MyPath.
And how is this different from MiLAT?
One is CSEC in terms of output, and the other is technical vocational in terms of skills. So your auto mechanics, your electrical installation, your welding, your culinary arts, all of those programs, persons can choose that suite of or that menu, as it were, of subjects in terms of the tech voc, because they may not be attuned, or they may not have a preference for the traditional CSEC or CXC subjects. MiLAT offers 12 CXC subjects at this time. MyPath will offer approximately 20 technical vocational subject areas that persons could choose from in the future.
Yes.
And this will be done in MyPath through associations with the Defense Force, teaching some of the subject areas, as well as with MIC and NESC as partner institutions in this process.
Well, thank you so much, Major Benjamin.
You're most welcome.
Now let's bring in our cadets, Travis and Nkosi. Now, I was wondering, what made you join the MiLAT program, and what has the experience been thus far? And I'm going to go with you first, Travis.
Hi, good day, miss. I joined the MiLAT program to get a second chance in CSEC passes, and also to inspire other people to join the MiLAT program as well, to be a leader and to inspire others.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned that you wanted to inspire others. So what about the MiLAT program made you want to join it? I mean, what has been your experiences thus far?
My experience it's been challenging, but also exciting, and you learn a lot every day staying at the MiLAT Academy.
Nice. Nkosi, tell me why you joined and what your experience has been thus far.
Well, the reason why I joined is also to get CXC passes, and also because I wanted to be around a new environment.
Yeah.
And my experience so far has been wonderful, because I get to do certain things that I never get to do before, because I was way bigger than this.
Yeah.
Lose weight, learn to hike, campfires, them different stuff.
So then, was it easy adjusting to this sort of military lifestyle?
It wasn't easy, it was challenging. But at the same time, you know, you had to work hard for everything.
Why?
Okay, if you don't work hard, you will not achieve nothing at all. Everything, nothing does come easy. And anything easy don't last long.
Yeah. I'm coming back to you, Travis. Was that change in lifestyle difficult for you or easy?
It was extremely challenging being in an environment where you have to be waking up early every day, and everything is based on timings. So you have to be prompt and on time.
Yeah. And when you leave the MiLAT program, what are your plans for the future?
My plan is to join the Defense Force, preferably Air Guard, or if that does not go my way, I am looking to be an entrepreneur.
Nice. And why Air Guard? Why Air Guard as opposed to becoming a soldier or Coast Guard or something like that?
I take interest in planes because I like how you can travel from one place, one continent to the next very easily.
Nice. I'm coming to you, Nkosi. Tell me your plans for the future, Mr. Hard Worker.
Well, I wanted to be a sailor since I was 8. So that is 10 years ago. I like boats, I like water. Anything to do with water, I just love it, and I always like boats. So I want to be a sailor, and I'm working towards being that.
I love how you mentioned that hard work. And so any young man who's watching this program, what can you tell them to encourage them to join the MiLAT program?
As I just always say, I just tell them keep moving forward. Don't let anybody tell you can't do it. Because it just be simple. You know, a child will want to do something, they'll go and ask somebody and they'll tell them, nah, you can't do it. I mean, my message to them is keep moving forward. 'Cause, anything and everything you could do, nothing is impossible. Only thing you can't do is live forever. Make it do anything else.
Yeah. Nkosi, so you think if you didn't enter the MiLAT program, your life would be different?
No,
No.
no.
So the MiLAT program didn't change your life?
It did change my life, but I would have be, I'll always say it increased my respect. Because, how to say, I was a lot aggressive, how I grew up. So it increased my respect where I could be respectful all the time. And not just for that specific person like your uncle, your auntie, your daddy. Because when you say respect them, anybody else, nah. It increases for me to learn and live with other people, to open up to other people, because I didn't trust soul.
Nice. And Travis, coming to you, any words of inspiration for any young man who's looking on right now about why they should join the MiLAT program?
Yes, miss. I believe people should, well, young men should join the MiLAT program because you'll learn a lot from the MiLAT program. You will get more self-discipline, self-respect, self-awareness. You'll learn time management. And there are a lot of mentors. The instructors are always there to guide you and always have a listening ear, even if you have personal problems as well.
And do you think the MiLAT program has also changed your life?
Yes, it did change my life a lot, significantly.
How so?
Because I did not get to finish secondary school due to financial difficulties. So I used it as a way to get a second chance.
Now, Nkosi, before we wrap, I know that you would have grown up in Mova and it took a lot from you to come out of that situation.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you mind sharing a bit about that?
So, me growing up, it was a little bit tough because, like we say, those I'm not originally from Mova. I grew up in San Juan. Moved from there, I was troubled. Used to get plenty of trouble because I was a child, I wanted my mom. And all the man, I kind of grew up, when a boy grew up without his mom, you know, he grew up a little angry. So everything was just trouble for me. Everywhere I was never home. At the age of 8, 9, imagine you being all outside, 12 o'clock in the night. You don't know where to go, you just lying with big people and them not big enough to tell you go inside. So, you know, parents who get fed up at that, so they'll try a different way. So I tried my godmother and she was living up over Caledonia. When they to live, things started changing a little bit. Cause I was around a woman. So I started drawn to like a mother. But still, I wanted more. So I was still getting trouble. And then I joined a youth club, Arangway's Police Youth Club, where they helped me because they know I liked it to fight. So they tell me, draw your energy somewhere else. So I take it up for myself, say, well, boxing. 'Cause I just used to watch the videos with Mike Tyson, Mayweather. That was my 2 favorite fighters. Then I started boxing. From boxing, I got my first fight November the 12th, 2019. When I was 15. With my first fight, and I continued boxing from there. And from there, let me say I'm being motivated. There's gear a little discipline. Any sport, I believe there's gear discipline. So I started to be happy because every time I get chance, I walk with boxing. I just walk go. And then it brings excitement. Till I started sharing it with others. Started to pull them in the same way. Hey, let me try this, let me try that. And from there, I wanted more. And I did find out about MiLAT since I was 14, because my father told me about it. But I couldn't join us yet. And I was afraid to be away from home. Because I was then living in Caledonia. I didn't even want to go back home. I wanted to stay there. And let's say when I turned 17, I realized that how COVID was going on, boxing can still be my career. I wanted something different. And I know I wanted to join the Coast Guard too. Because them was my 2 goals. So I take MiLAT. Do the test first, fail the test once, went back again. And they called me. And I went in. So it was a little bit shaky. Came in seeing everybody in white and black. a bucket, and everybody had the things to go in. But from there, that is when I believe my light truly shine. I get to see what I could do, especially while talking, change people's lives. I help plenty youth men, get them plenty things to get into MiLAT. I have two right now who's there. I happy they're there because they just take that little and they from over too. They take the little bit of talk I do and take it upon itself and take the time go and do the test and come in.
Nkosi, how were you able to maintain that motivation? You get knocked down, you get back up and you go again. You get knocked down, you get back up and you go again. How were you able to maintain that motivation throughout?
My cousin, he passed away now, but my cousin Jerome, every time I feel like I wanted to give up, I used to go by here and talk. Just talk, 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 talk. And he used to tell me, nobody can stop your light from shining. And he get that from my grandmother who passed away in 2012. I mean, and he was the two firstborn. His mother was my aunt, my father was his uncle. So he tell me, she always used to tell him, we light very bright. It's just don't let nobody put a hand over it to cover it. Shine real bright. Burn the hand. And he used to keep me going until I started to keep people going. And then I realized I see the light. When he passed away, the light we was talking about, there are people. Because me talking to people, I realized I changed them. And me helping people does also help me too. Because I learn from them. So that same problem them have, I could help somebody else.
Now, Nkosi, one of the things that you were saying was that you didn't have your mother. You were living with your godmother because you wanted that sort of motherly love. And so I'm wondering how important is your mother and family as it relates to, what you want to achieve in life?
Them important. Them actually know because they see the change. They draw more to me. I'm not saying the bad because they know they put me somewhere else. That was them trying to figure out all the family because I mean they try. They will try. Because when I sit down and think about it, me turn 18 and I sit down and think about it, them try too much. Okay, if it was me, I would have get a headache. Them try too much. So that was the only option. Right now, them as I come out of MiLAT after the training, I visited my mother at one time. And she see me, she cried. Because same white and black shade or whatever, but she cried. Because she see a different person. I wasn't the same person as I see my mom used to get on aggressive because she wasn't she pulled by her father. She had a reason too. Because she sit down and talk to me. But being young, you doesn't like to listen. That's the problem with some of we youth now. We don't like to sit down and listen. We sit down and listen, we go understand what our parents go through. My mom make me cry, and then I realized why she had to do what she do, why my father had to do what I do. So I keep moving, keep on moving, and right now, my father, he just talk to me the most. He said, son, keep moving. He said, at that time, he sent my message in March. He said I was supposed to tell his son, I'm very proud of where he become. He wasn't that person. Become a man. Because after induction training, I don't know what, but I was on a clean and spray. Because they just teach you all the time management, clean your room, make up your bed. He gets me making up my bed and asks me, what's wrong with me here? Why I washing wares? I used to put the wares in the sink and look for the furthest place to scatter. When he called, man, not coming, come in washing my wares. All them things just change. How I used to dress change. Paying on clothes. Cause I used to, when you don't wash your jersey, you put it up on your line instead of full. You just throw that jersey out. That was me. Never used to make sure it press. And them kind of all those things change. So with my parents and them, I happy that they're proud and I want to make them more proud and doing more things. More and more things and reach further.
And do you have a closer relationship with your mom now?
Very close. I remember my mama is crying together because kind of things I do. She sent me pictures and I watched some of the pictures. My face was innocent, but I wasn't innocent at all. But I'm glad that the fact that we have a real good relationship and an understanding that she could call me and say, son, this is what's going on. I like what you're doing. And I could say, Mom, thank you.
Travis, I'm coming to you as well because I wanted to hear your thoughts in terms of how important do you think, a mother and family is to any relationship?
I believe family keeps you uphold that support, that foundation where you could if you're having problems, you could go to your mother or your father or anybody that is close, whether it's your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, because you always need that that support, you know, that role model. You always need somebody to turn to when times go rough.
Nice. Well, let me thank you all so much for coming and joining us this evening. Thank you.
Miss.
Let me thank Major Benjamin and, of course, our cadets Travis Roop and Nkosi Thomas. Join us at the same time next week for another edition of Delving Deeper. I am Kimberly D'Souza, and on behalf of our entire crew, have a good night.